we were safe from the killers from Jilloween. After I killed them all, maybe one got away I didn't know about and got to Mayor Aaron. It's all my fault. I can't believe this. Mayor Aaron was my best.
Huh? Best? Best what? I'm your best what?
Oh, never mind. I thought you were dead there for a minute. I mean, you are laying in blood.
Blood? Oh, you mean this? Nah, this is just a fruit... Okay, well, a melted fruit roll-up.
Okay, gross. May I ask why you were passed out on the table when I walked in laying in a melted fruit roll-up?
I honestly don't know. I mean, all I remember is being full of energy and excited. And then I just kind of crashed.
Wait, didn't you go trick or treating with your daughter on Halloween?
Yep, I sure did. As a matter of fact, I dressed as Chris Statlander. Oh, and then last night I went to the local church's trunk or treat, dressed as Mandy Rose. But, that's about all I remember.
Wow. You took Adley trick or treating 2 nights in a row. You're a better dad than you are mayor.
Yeah, I totally didn't go trick-or-treating by myself last night to get more candy.
You are unbelievable. Well, at least I'm sure you have plenty of candy left.
It's all gone, Co-Mayor Alexa. It's all gone! The candy, Co-Mayor Alexa! It's all gone! Oh, there's still some left! Hey y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now before we get started, I just want to remind y'all to please hit subscribe below to become an official resident of LJV and get a first look at all future women's wrestling figures, like today's figure review with WWE Elite Series 98, Mandy Rose. Now first of all, excuse my voice, I've had a sore throat, been a little sick, but either way, there's a lot to talk about with this figure. Not only does it look awesome, maybe figure of the year, but the prototype images that we all saw in Ringside Collectibles and wherever else online, it looked like the top was metallic and the lips looked to be dark. And just looking at it from a distance here, the top doesn't look metallic, but it's really hard to tell until I open this figure up and take a closer look. So, also, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for one of these figures here. I have a couple more coming to LJV tomorrow, so stay tuned to the LumberJillville Instagram and the YouTube channel for details on that. But without further ado, let's take a closer look at this figure, starting with the packaging. Alright, so as far as the packaging goes, I've mentioned this before. Ever since they made the switch to this new design, I'm just not a big fan. You know, I think it looks great. I think the blue and black theme looks really good with red accents. But the quality of this new design is what I don't like. What I mean by that is the cardboard is paper thin. So easy to bend and tear. And yeah, it's really hard to find these figures MOC without any tears, any bends, any wrinkles. Very difficult because this cardboard is just paper thin, right? But I think it does look visually appealing. It looks really good. This would be the Mandy Rose figure I'd get autographed if I ever met her. So it does look cool MOC, but just be aware that this cardboard is very delicate. Now, the figure itself looks awesome in this nice open window, and it's still hard to tell if that red is metallic or not, and if the lips are dark. You know, we'll discover that next when I take it out here, but just looking at it MOC here, we have her name at the bottom, an image of the beautiful and stunning Mandy Rose, and then that same image on the side here, and on the back, we have that image from the Halloween Havoc that this is from. We have a little bio at the top, and a blurb down here. So, yeah, this is definitely a cool figure. And I'm going to rip it out. I'm going to open it up. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to be coy about it. I meant to have scissors sitting here, but you know what? I have a few more coming tomorrow. Adley, my daughter, got the other one I got today. And, yeah, I'll have some to spare. So if I mess up the box, this is just, yeah. So there's better ways to do that than what I just did. So let me carefully take this figure out of the packaging. We'll take a closer look. WWE Elite Series 98, Mandy Rose. This attire is from NXT Halloween Havoc 2021, which took place on October 26th. On this night, Mandy Rose would defeat Raquel Gonzalez in a trick or street fight match chosen by Chucky to become the new NXT Women's Champion. Alright, so my overall first impressions of this figure, I mean, wow. Okay, so something happened that's never happened in any of my figure reviews before. And that's that, okay, so I opened it up, put it on that little turntable so I can do the part where I talk about what the attire is from. And I turned on my 3 studio lights here. And once I had those lights on, I looked up at the figure and my jaw dropped. I mean, I audibly was like, holy crap. I mean, this literally looks like a shrunken down version of Mandy. I mean, this is amazing. This figure's amazing. So my first impressions, I mean, I was blown out of the water, right? And the prototype images look great, but having it in front of me, I'm telling y'all, if you get one that the scan's printed on good, because you always got to look for that, like this one is, I mean, this is unbelievable. This is amazing. Anyway, let's cover accessories before we take a closer look at that face, and then at the attire. So she has some semi-open hands that she comes packaged with, and then she has some of these hands that are kind of her unique pose that she does, and I have her other Elite in the poster I'll show you, with black nail polish, so that's definitely a nice little addition. It's nice that we got those hands. And then obviously the main accessory here are these wings. Now these wings are actually, they look like the exact ones that I found at Party City that I had in my intro, the black with the red tips there. They are a soft plastic rubber type material, so they do have some posability, but they definitely stay upright really nicely here. And there's also a lot of sculpting throughout those wings, so that's cool. Now the way these attach is they go on the arms here, just like the ones that I got at Party City, everybody. So I think she got these at Party City. I'm just kidding. And the cool thing is, these slide off pretty easily because the little rubber strap, and I'll get a closer look at the wings, these little straps that go around the arms, they do stretch a little bit. I will say be careful because I could see these snapping pretty easily, and then there'd be no way to keep the wings on. So, yeah, these wing accessories are awesome. Now, I know a big complaint online was that she doesn't come with the NXT Women's Championship. I was one of those at first, but you know what? That wouldn't be accurate because she came into that night without the championship wearing the wings. So if she had the championship in the box with the wings on, it'd kind of be a clash of before and after the match, right? So in my head, in my crazy little head, I was like, okay, I see why they didn't include the NXT Women's Championship because they're doing her pre-match look. And she obviously won the match and got the belt post-match. But hopefully we get another Elite Mandy coming up here soon with that new NXT Women's Championship. But okay, let's take a closer look at that face scan, face sculpt, and hair sculpt. Alright, so as far as the face scan and face sculpt goes, is this the best face scan and sculpt I've ever seen in LumberJillville? Abso-freaking-lutely. In my opinion, this scan and sculpt is amazing, and it is different than her Elite 75. This blew me out of the water. And I've seen amazing scans and sculpts before, but this one looks so tremendous and so lifelike, and I am going to throw that disclaimer out there that make sure when you're getting this figure that scan is printed on the facial structures properly, because I do have another Mandy that came with this one. I have a couple more coming tomorrow, and one of them the scan was a little bit off, and when that scan's a little bit off, it makes a big difference. But this figure we're looking at today, this face scan was printed on that face sculpt perfectly, and this is the best that I've seen in LumberJillville in my opinion. I mean, the eyes are amazing. The eyelash detail is in there. The eyebrows are perfect. And the lips are a darkish red. Now, remember I'm colorblind. Throw that disclaimer out there here. But the image that I posted on Instagram that a lot of people were saying the lips were a lot lighter than the proto images, I agreed. But when I opened it up and looking at it in front of me, the lips do look like that dark color red that they used in the proto images. So the lips look great. They really stand out and pop. And the one thing I really noticed is the face sculpt is unbelievable. It might be hard to tell on camera here, but she has defined cheekbones just like in real life. And yeah, so amazing. And the hair sculpt here is also, it's pretty simple, but it definitely gets the job done. It looks great. The color is like a brownish auburn type color, and it looks amazing. As far as the face scan, face sculpt, and hair sculpt goes, it's the best I've ever seen here in LJV, and I'll stand by that. I really will. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words here. It is tremendous. Alright, so moving on down to the body sculpt and the attire, and this figure continues to be awesome, but we're going to jump right to the question that I've been asked a few times since I posted my pictures on Instagram of my two MOC Mandys. A lot of people were saying that the red looked like a matte red, and it really did in the image, because the prototype images of this figure, that top was a metallic red color. And I will say, having it in front of me, it's definitely not as metallic as the images looked in the prototype photos, but I do think it is a little bit metallic. Now, this is something I really struggle with being colorblind, so I would love to hear y'all's opinions in the comments, or if you have this figure, let me know what you think about yours. Now, there's a question out there if there's a variant, if there's some that have a metallic red and some that don't. And I have 3 more coming tomorrow, so I'll hopefully be able to debunk that, right? If I have 5 Mandys total, I should have 1 or 2 that have the metallic or don't have the metallic, whatever. But the one that I have does have a slight metallic tint to it, and I'm really okay with that. And the main reason is, if you look at the attire that she actually wore, it is like a satin type material, and that's really, honestly, what this top comes off as. I mean, I think they did an excellent job here with that paint application, and I think it's pretty darn accurate to what she wore that night. So it does look a little different than the prototype images we saw, but I think it looks amazing. It looks accurate. And yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think about the color of the red. But it does have a shiny, a little tiny bit of a metallic tint to it. I really do think my Instagram photo was just a little off. But let's backtrack a little bit and cover body sculpt. The body sculpt here is amazing. The part choices are great, and I love the unique sculpting that we got in the top. So starting off here, we have a little black choker necklace painted on. This top is sculpted on. A brand new chest mold, obviously, here. And it looks great. We even have a little design in the top, that line that was in it in real life. And then on the back, we have some lines that are sculpted down. Now, this little piece that's covering her midsection, her torso here, that's actually sculpted on the edges there. It has little sculpted details in it. And what blew me away is the laces are even sculpted. It's hard to tell, but if you take your thumbnail or fingernail and go down, you can feel the raised ledges there of the sculpted strings, so that's amazing. And then, yeah, the string's even sculpted on the side. It's amazing. And even little silver paint around the rivets there where the strings go through. It's unbelievable. We have the black fingernails like I covered before. She has the really short black shorts here with the silver detail. It looks great. Now, I know her shorts in real life, she usually has a little bit of, cheek hanging out. I'm not trying to sound weird, but that's just how it is. But, I don't know if they could really do that being Mattel. So I think they did a great job here. I really like the black and silver detail here. And then she has the little black garter or little strap that goes around the leg that's painted on. And then this is a nice little touch. Like, these little short boots are very unique to her. New sculpt. And then we have these little short stockings painted on. And the detail in those little stockings are unbelievable. Little tiny fishnets. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the attire and body sculpt goes, once again, banger. Oh, I am going to point out, too, her legs are very muscular, and that is super accurate. She's very muscular, and they made the right part choices here, and sometimes we don't get that. So, as far as the body sculpt and attire goes, I mean, another Grand Slam home run out of the park. And, yes, that red color, it does have a tiny bit of a metallic tint to it. And in my opinion, it looks a lot more similar to what she actually wore on that night than the prototype image that we saw on like ringside and whatnot. So I'm definitely happy with that top color. Alright, so now let's do a little side-by-side comparison between her 2 best figures, in my opinion. Now, she does have a few other basics that I do own, but I think these 2 are above and beyond those basics, in my opinion. So on the left, we have Elite Series 75, and on the right, we have, obviously, Elite 98. Now, these are 2 different era Mandy Roses, and I do think that they're both must-haves for your women's wrestling figure collection. But let's take a real quick look. I did review this figure in my first year of the channel here, and I love this figure. I really like the sculpted detail of the attire here. The one thing that bothers me, side note, you see in the chest, there's a little bit, I guess cleavage you'd call it, sculpted there in that opening, and that should be flesh-colored paint that was used there, but maybe they didn't want to give a figure that much cleavage or revealing clothes. I don't know, but either way, they painted it black, and that kind of bothered me because it's just not accurate that way. But either way, I mean, this is an excellent figure. I really like the black and gold. I love the gold boots. I really do. And the blonde hair is obviously iconic to what she had at the time. And I really liked this face scan and face sculpt at the time. I thought it was really good. But after today, I mean, this to me is just, I mean, it's no competition which one is a better sculpt and scan. You know, this new one is obviously a brand new sculpt and scan, and I think it knocks the old one out of the park. I really do. But I do think both are must-haves for your collection. But if you just had to choose one Mandy Rose to add to your collection, it would definitely be Elite 98, in my opinion. Alright, so now let's cover articulation. Said that weird. Alright, so the head can kind of look down, look up a little bit, can't really, look right, look left. It's a little tight on that neck joint, but I'd rather have it be tight than loosey-goosey and fall off all the time, so that's fine. Shoulders on a ball joint can go in all different directions. We have that upper arm swivel. We have double jointed elbows for the first time for Mandy. We have a wrist swivel. The wrist can also extend and flex. We have that upper torso movement that actually really has a lot of movement. Good side bending here. Good trunk flexion. Good trunk extension there. We have a waist swivel. The hip is on a ball joint. Can go in all different directions. We have an upper thigh swivel. There we go. We have double jointed knees that can really flex back. We have the upper boot swivel. And the foot can plantar flex down, dorsiflex up, and it can rock side to side. So, yeah, this is the most articulated Mandy Rose figure. Love it. All right, so now it's time to give this figure an overall score. And overall, I give WWE Elite Series 98 Mandy Rose an overall score of a, 13 out of 10. Now, I'm not going to focus too much on numbers here for this score. And the reason I had to give it a 13 is because, in my opinion, this figure is better than the Shotzi I reviewed from Elite 95. It's better than the Ultimate Edition Alexa Bliss. And in my humble opinion, this Mandy Rose is the best women's wrestling figure that I have ever reviewed here in LumberJillville. Now, that Bliss Ultimate Edition was the best at the time when I reviewed it, right? I think I gave it a 12. But that figure, I mean, the more I look at it and everything, there's some things like the chest is super long. There's some things a little bit off. And it's an Ultimate Edition figure, so you expect that kind of quality for an Ultimate. Now, when Shotzi came along from Elite 95, that was the best figure I reviewed in LumberJillville, especially considering it was an Elite at an Elite price. And that figure is still tremendous. But in my opinion, this Mandy edges that out. So this face scan and face sculpt is the best I've ever seen, hands down, by far. Now remember, make sure that the scan is printed on correctly when you get it, because if it's a little bit off, it might look a little wonky, but when it's printed on correctly on that new face sculpt, it looks tremendous. I love the hair sculpt, the hair color. I think the body sculpt is excellent. We got a lot of new unique molding and sculpting here that fits her, and the attire is excellent. You know, the attire is near perfect. I was a little hesitant here when I posted my images, and a lot of people were saying that the red looked like a matte colored red. And that's still up in the air if there are some Mandy Rose variants out there with a more metallic, darker red top like we saw in the proto images. But like I said, I'm getting 3 more coming tomorrow. So I'll let y'all know, and I'll make a post on my Instagram or here if I get a couple that are a couple different shades of red. But honestly, in my opinion, in person, this red is perfect. It does have a slight metallic shine, but it's accurate, right? So yeah, I mean, I didn't want to give it a score like a 13 out of 10, but I had to give it a better score than my Shotzi, and I had to give it a better score than my Ultimate Edition Alexa Bliss, because this is the best women's wrestling figure I've ever reviewed in LumberJillville so far. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. For a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, make sure to hit subscribe and become an official resident of LJV today. Head on over to ringsidecollectibles.com and use coupon code LJV at checkout to save 10% on your next order of women's wrestling figures, like this Mandy Rose. Highly suggested. Also, head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com/LumberJillville for official merch of LJV. Now, I truly appreciate y'all watching this review today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all very soon with some brand new women's wrestling figures. Have a great night, y'all.